Hey guys, this is Sean with Long Honeymoon. In this video, we're going to talk about the gory details of the installation and cost of our new solar system that was installed by Ronnie Dennis, Airstream Nuts and Bolts on Instagram. Spoiler alert, it's kind of expensive. So the goal of this video is to help inform all of you do-it-yourselfers out there, and you can decide if this is a project that you would like to tackle yourself. Also, if you're interested in RV solar, you can decide whether you want to do a package like this, or a smaller package, or maybe even a bigger package, because it really all depends on you, your budget, the size of your RV, and what your wife will allow. So what we have here is our first solar panel. Today we're going to focus on the roof.
There's a safety factor that you need to consider, because even though we're indoors here, these panels are putting out electricity, and we just checked it with the meter.
Let's talk about the solar panels. We have 4 Renogy solar panels. Those cost basically 200 bucks a piece, $199 to be exact. So that's $800 in solar panels. Also, there's some other knickknacks up there with them, some wiring and a wiring distribution box. The first step in this solar panel installation is figuring out where you want those panels to go. Those solar panels weigh about 16 pounds a piece. You can put them pretty much anywhere on top of your RV that you want. We decided it made the most sense to put them sort of oriented towards the rear. That weight is pretty evenly distributed up there, so we weren't really worried about adding that additional 64 pounds of weight. And Ronnie has developed a special way of mounting the panels on the roof. We did not drill any holes in our roof to mount those panels. Those panels are mounted using some brackets that Ronnie has developed to mount them to curved rooftops. So it's a special little metal bracket that pivots, and beneath that metal bracket is a super strong 3M adhesive tape.
This is 4941 VHB tape. It's 1.5 inches wide by 2 inches long, and it is actually the same type material that they use to adhere metal panels to the side of aircraft. These feet will actually kind of bend like that and match the contour of the roof.
Nice.
So there'll be just a slight cant. You know, they won't be perfectly straight up and down. They'll just be a little bit in, but it takes the stress off the tape. You know, you can stick them down straight, but they'll always want to peel or lift around the edge. Well, this gives you the ability to free float that.
So essentially our panels are taped to the roof, but to be more accurate, those brackets are taped to the roof. We will be able to remove the solar panels pretty much at any time we want. Like if we wanted to do a thorough cleaning of the roof or servicing the panels, whatever, because all we'll have to do is unplug the electrical cables and remove those bolts from those brackets.
Good. All right, now pick up on that.
We did have to run wiring, of course, from those panels down into the trailer. What Ronnie decided to do is to run that wiring through the refrigerator vent. The next step is to pull some wire. This is a step that is incredibly frustrating. I want to give a shout out to Long Honeymoon subscriber David Carley, who showed up to help us. So the wire has to run from the solar panels down into the trailer and then to the front and the back of the trailer. It comes in through that refrigerator vent, and then it was quite a laborious process to basically fish that wire to the front and to the rear of the trailer. The rear of the trailer is where our shore power comes in, right? The front of the trailer is where we decided to position all of our solar equipment with regard to the batteries and the charger and the inverter and so forth. Ideally, you don't want to add weight to the rear of your trailer if you can help it, just because that contributes to trailer sway. Airstream puts a couple of battery boxes in the front of the trailer, and they really intrude into the cabin beneath the couch in the front of the trailer. Each one of those old school lead acid batteries weighs around 70 pounds a piece. So we removed 2 of those from the front of the trailer, That's 140 pounds of weight taken out of the front. Then we replaced that with 4 lithium batteries. Those weigh about 30 pounds apiece, so that's about 120 pounds of weight added. And we added the inverter, the solar charger, and some other knickknacks. All told, in the front of the trailer, it's just about a wash in terms of weight. Now, once that wire had been pulled, it was time to install the switches and fuses and circuit breakers and so forth. In order to complete the installation of all the interior components, some pieces of our Airstream were pulled out. For example, we removed the entire couch and the side bolsters. Nice. We removed the credenza that's kind of a TV stand that's in the living area of our Airstream. We also removed the bed and the top bed platform. One great thing if you're dealing with an Airstream is that pretty much everything inside the trailer can be removed with a screwdriver and will exit the Airstream door. These have been designed that way because that's the way they are built from the factory.
We've mounted the board to where all the new switches and fuses are going to go, and we're going to remove the old DC distribution system and the old charge converter.
In the trailer, of course, is the solar charger. You gotta have one of those, and it costs about $300. The knickknacks, my friend, add up from a cost perspective. How much do you think we spent on knickknacks? And I'm talking about the sealant, the circuit breakers, the circuit box, copper lugs, copper crimp lugs, heat shrinks, fuses, multi-packs, welding wire, etc., etc. About 1,700 bucks. So yeah, it's a lot of money. Total for all the different knickknacks, all the wiring, all the fuses, all the circuit breakers, and so forth, all the switches. Ronnie uses the best quality stuff he can get.
So just to show you the difference in these wires, this is the type of wire that is used by the Airstream factory. You can see the width of it. This would be considered a heavy wire, and you can see it's about double the circumference of the factory wire. This is the wire we're going to.
You can look at the wiring used in our wiring job, and it's much more robust than what you would see out of pretty much any RV manufacturer. He's getting the best stuff. The best stuff costs some money, and that stuff was just purchased on Amazon. Now, once all those fuses and circuit breakers and all that stuff were in place, also the batteries needed to be wired, right? Those batteries cost around 950 bucks a piece. So 4 of those lithium batteries by Battleborn cost about as much as I paid for my first car back in the 1980s. There's no denying they cost a lot of money. However, they last about 3 times as long as lead acid batteries, and they have more than double the power output. For half the weight, you get twice the power and 3 times the lifespan. So if you do the math, they really don't cost that much more over the long term. And they require basically no servicing whatsoever. So they're sort of worry-free once they're put in place and set up. Now, in addition to wiring up those batteries, of course, Ronnie wired up that fancy Victron 3000 watt inverter, the color display panel on the wall, and there's also a battery monitor display on the wall. That inverter cost about 1,200 bucks, and the Victron color display cost $516.
It's 61 degrees Fahrenheit is the battery temperature. 240 hours is what it says we have, which is your 10-day limit, 24 hours for 10 days. Your batteries are at 100% capacity.
This little guy costs a couple $100 bucks also. You can see the way that Ronnie installed it. It involved removing our microwave oven and cutting a hole in that wall and then mounting it. Once all of those components had been wired, there were 2 additional pieces of gear that Ronnie wanted to install. The first is our Progressive Industry surge protector that went in the back of our trailer beneath the bed. That's where the shore power enters our trailer. Installation of this seemed to be fairly straightforward. The second piece of gear was the DC to DC charger. This is an optional piece of gear that Ronnie strongly recommended. The point of this piece of gear is to protect the alternator in our truck, because those lithium batteries can be power hungry, and if you're driving down the highway, they're going to be pulling a lot of electricity out of the truck in order to recharge, because that's what trailer batteries do when you're traveling down the highway. Well, that DC to DC charger limits that draw to 40 amps, and that'll protect our alternator and protect us from having a breakdown, hopefully, somewhere on the road.
Right, you'll plug in your 7-pin just like you normally would when you tow, and there'll be another set of wires that you'll plug into the Anderson power pole connector to connect the trailer, the lithium batteries to the truck's charging system.
And now it's time for the big reveal. I want to show you exactly the way this gear looks once we've got it all in place and tucked away. Here it is. There's our new solar system. How about that? 100% of this gear is concealed from view, and it is silent. There is a small cooling fan that will occasionally come on in the inverter, but I have yet to hear it when we're in the trailer because it's sort of tucked away and muffled beneath that couch. Now, the one sacrifice we had to make with regard to putting the gear up here had to do with this little storage drawer. Ronnie cut the drawer, and it's not as deep as it once was. He basically cut and rebuilt this drawer. And behind the drawer, of course, are the batteries and the inverter and the solar charger and all those fuses, switches, circuit breakers, and so forth.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. The big conceal.
10 pounds in a 2-pound sack.
Yeah.
Overall, this was a really brilliant install. You can look at just the quality of Ronnie's wiring job and cable management. It's very orderly, organized, and logical in the way that it's laid out. And it definitely took a lot of thought and skill. I really couldn't be happier with the way that this gear has tucked away here. So how much labor was involved in doing all this? Well, every job is going to be a little bit different. I think you can ballpark roughly 50 hours of labor for a job of this magnitude done to this standard of quality. Ronnie has been doing solar installs for years. Personally, after witnessing him work and seeing what's involved with this job, I would not recommend that anyone try this themselves unless they have a detailed knowledge of solar systems and of electrical systems, because there's a lot of wiring involved. Every RV is going to be a little bit different because every RV has a different size, a different shape, a different floor plan. Some people go bigger. You know, I met a guy in South Dakota who follows Long Long Honeymoon last year. I believe he had 8 to 10 lithium batteries, and he had 6 or 8 solar panels. It all depends on you, your budget, and how you use your RV. For those of you who are going full-time and are thinking about getting out to the desert in Quartzsite or someplace like that, then a solar system might make a lot of sense for you. So I know some of you out there are saying, oh my gosh, that's insanely expensive. Well, it depends on how you look at it. Our trailer is 17 years old. Our truck is 13 years old. We've been doing this for more than a decade.
When I talk about boondocking sites, this is what I'm talking about. Behind us is the Something Hatchie River.
Every single year, people have asked, when are you guys going to do solar? And we decided this year was the year we were going to do solar, and we were going to do it right. So yes, it costs some money. Yes, we'll make some money back over time. We didn't really do it for that reason. It's a luxury. It's not for everyone. If you are simply getting out a couple times a year with your RV and enjoying your local parks or what have you, you may or may not want to go for solar. It all depends on you and your budget. For a lot of people, the RV is their happy space. It is their classic car. It is their vacation condo. And for people like that who have the money, it might make a lot of sense to get something like this. It's a great luxury, and it really enhances the experience of traveling with an RV. Is it necessary? No. Nothing's necessary except food, water, and shelter. Everything else is a luxury. I guess clothing. Clothing is necessary, at least if I'm going to be on camera. Oh, but some of you out there are saying, you're a YouTuber. I'll bet some of those companies sent you some of those products. That is true. We did approach certain companies and we had certain products provided for us. Sponsors include Battleborn Batteries, Victron Energy, Renogy, Solar, and Belusi. But we paid for a lot of stuff ourselves too. So it was kind of a mix. We had some sponsors providing some product and we were buying some other product ourselves. We do a YouTube channel. What do you expect? So that's it. That's a look at our solar system. And yes, Ronnie did a great job with the install. If you got any more questions about it, go ask him because he is the true expert. Thanks as always, guys, for tuning in. We'll be making more videos about our solar system throughout the year. But no, this has not become the solar channel. It's still Long Long Honeymoon. In the future, we will be reviewing more portable bidets. We will be reviewing more good old-fashioned, politically incorrect fossil fuel burning generators. And we will be blabbing about all those places we like to go. So nothing has changed here except that we've added solar and we can speak with experience about solar as well as generators. As always, thank you for tuning in. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe. We gotta bump it up. Step it up, people. Subscribe. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you on future videos here at Long Long Honeymoon. Until next time, Lola.
This video is brought to you by Podawada. Tastes like crap, but it won't kill you.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep that camera rolling.